Right from the moment she was born into the dazzling world of Hollywood royalty, Carrie's life was marked by a series of tragedies that would have crippled most people. From breaking the stigma surrounding mental health issues to battling her fight with drug addiction, we are going to share with you the untold stories of the life of Carrie Fisher while showing you some of her rare photos. Carrie Fisher's life was defined by a level of fame and success that only few could ever imagine, but it was also marred by great personal tragedy right from the very beginning. Born into the spectacular world of Hollywood royalty, Carrie was the daughter of legendary actress Debbie Reynolds and renowned singer Eddie Fisher. As a newborn, the future Princess Leia was overshadowed by the flashy career of her celebrity parents. My father, upon seeing me start to come through, crown with all the placenta and everything else, faints dead away. So now all the nurses go, "Oh look, there's Eddie Fisher, the crooner, on the ground, let's go look at him." So when I arrived, I was virtually unattended, and I have been trying to make up for that fact ever since. Aside that, Carrie's childhood was also anything but ordinary, as she found herself caught in the crosshairs of one of the most infamous scandals of the era. What should have been a joyous childhood was instead swept up in a whirlwind that was the impending collapse of Carrie's family. Christened America's Sweethearts, her parents were the golden couple of their era, but in 1958, when Carrie was just 2 years old, the fairy tale came crashing down. According to the blaze of tabloid headlines, her father, Eddie Fisher, was said to have abandoned her mother, Debbie Reynolds, for the alluring Elizabeth Taylor, with whom her father had been friends since they were teenagers in Hollywood. Eddie was the best man at Taylor's 1957 wedding to his friend Mike Todd, while Reynolds had served as matron of honor, so you can imagine how shocking it had been for the scandal to come out. Apparently, when Elizabeth's husband Todd died in a plane crash, the grieving Taylor and Fisher started an affair. This shocking betrayal not only rocked the nation, but also cast a very long shadow over Carrie's childhood, because soon after, Carrie's parents, Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, divorced with a fallout that shocked the country, leaving young Carrie and her brother Todd to yearn for their mother's attention. Now, my parents had this incredibly vital relationship with an audience, like with muscle and blood, and this was the main competition that I had for my parents' attention. An audience. This rough start to Carrie's life would set the tone for the tragedies that were to come. Carrie Fisher's acting career on the big screen kicked off in 1973 when she made her Broadway debut in the musical comedy Irene from the 1919 musical Irene, which also starred her mother. But her time on Broadway interfered with school so much that she had to drop out eventually. Then, at the tender age of 19, Carrie was catapulted into great fame with her breakout role as the feisty Princess Leia in the original Star Wars trilogy, a character she would embody for a long time to come. The success of the films helped to cement her status as a cultural icon, but for Carrie, it also marked the beginning of a personal descent into darkness. For Carrie, the sudden stardom brought with it a level of scrutiny that was both dizzying and demoralizing. As if being thrown into the spotlight so suddenly was not enough, the production team for Star Wars demanded that the already slim actress lose even more weight, sending her to what she described as a fat farm. They want to hire a part of me, not all of me. So they want to hire about 3/4, so I have to get rid of the fourth somehow. The fourth can't be with me. This obsession with Carrie's appearance would continue to torment her throughout her career, as she grappled with serious body dysmorphia issues. And at just 24 years old, she was also diagnosed with the debilitating condition of bipolar disorder, further adding to the struggles she had to live with. It's like I'm not properly insulated, so all the bad and the good ways that you and most of the people in the adjacent neighborhoods and around the world feel, and that pours directly into my system unchecked. It was Carrie's characteristic honesty about her mental health challenges that made her a champion for those who shared her diagnosis. I think if you're manically depressive, you're living with it. It takes balls or the female equivalent, and people make fun of it or, "What, don't want anyone to know, man, I don't care." It's like a war. Another thing that made her battle with bipolar disorder is her lifelong struggle with drug and alcohol abuse. At a young age, she started abusing substances, starting with marijuana at 13 and eventually spiraling into a full-blown dependence on a cocktail of cocaine, hallucinogens, and opiates. I used to refer to my drug use as putting the monster in the box. I wanted to be less, so I took more. Her descent into addiction reached a new depth in 1985 when she overdosed, a wake-up call that led her to seek treatment and finally confront her demons. and with the help of Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, she was eventually able to defeat her demons. And speaking about demons, another one with its arms wrapped around her neck is the relationships she got herself into. Carrie had a tumultuous personal life that was further complicated by a series of high-profile relationships that became yet another source of tragedy and endless heartbreak. Her 12-year on-again, off-again romance with musician Paul Simon and year-long marriage was a volatile affair, which was marked by intense passion and debilitating rows. Although they understood each other perfectly, their connection was tested by her mental illness and substance abuse. In the late 70s, Carrie's brief engagement to Dan Aykroyd was another chapter in her colorful love life. They fell in love when the comedic actor had literally saved her life by performing the Heimlich maneuver when she was choking on a Brussels sprout. But the relationship ultimately fizzled as Carrie rekindled things with Simon. Perhaps Carrie's most controversial relationship was her affair with her Star Wars co-star, Harrison Ford. In her 2016 memoir, The Princess Diarist, Carrie revealed that both of them had an intense clandestine affair during the filming of the first Star Wars movie. "This is the most personal thing I have written," she told The Guardian, as she later admitted that she regretted sharing the story. But when it comes to the most devastating of all her relationships, it can be none other than her relationship with Hollywood agent Brian Lord. After just 3 years together and the birth of their daughter Billy, Lord abruptly left Carrie for another man, a betrayal that succeeded in shattering her already fragile emotional state. However, Carrie wrote in Wishful Drinking, "Brian took such good care of me that I thought, this guy will make a good father. And I was right, he made a great father, and he still does." Carrie's life, which had started in the shadow of her parents' infamous divorce, continued to be plagued by tragedy at every turn. Even her iconic status as Princess Leia became a source of continuous anguish as she struggled with the weight of her public persona while also enduring relentless scrutiny. Later on, Carrie's brother Todd told Variety, "It took Carrie about a decade or two to embrace that she and Princess Leia were one, and that her fans were kind of like an extended family." Carrie herself also wrote about the weirdness of meeting fans who'd known her since childhood. "Sometimes I feel as if I'd rather concern myself with almost anything. But as it happens, I've spent the lion's share of my life being as much myself as Princess Leia, wishing she'd finally just go away and leave me to be myself alone, but then wondering who I'd be without her." But regardless of the turmoil that defined much of her personal life, Carrie remained a prolific and acclaimed writer, with her 1987 semi-autobiographical novel, Postcards from the Edge, becoming a bestseller, which was later adapted into a critically acclaimed film starring Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine. In the later years of her career, Carrie surrendered herself to the legacy of Princess Leia, a role that had equally managed to define and constrain her. But to treat her depression, she had to undergo electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, to treat a major bout of depression. But unfortunately, the treatment also had the side effect of affecting her short-term memory and ability to recall words. You get put to sleep for, I don't know, about 10 minutes, and as you're going to sleep, they put it's like a little piece of film. They put one here and there's a medication that they give you now. So there's no convulsions. No, but it actually has really helped. I don't have to take as much medication. Tragically, Carrie's remarkable life was cut short when she suffered a sudden cardiac arrest on a flight from London to Los Angeles in December 2016. She died just 4 days later at the age of 60. In the aftermath of her death, her daughter, Billie Lourd, issued a statement, writing, "My mom battled drug addiction and mental illness her entire life. She ultimately died of it." Through it all, Carrie is remembered as a beacon of honesty, humor, and as one who possessed an unwavering dedication to breaking the stigma surrounding mental health issues.